Hey everyone, George here and welcome back to the channel. Got some exciting news about a new podcast that I will be doing on Fridays every week, starting this next week. When we come back, I'm going to explain that to you and kind of tell you how it's going to work. So hang in there with me and we'll be right back. Hey everyone, George here and welcome back to the channel. So we're going to be starting something here in about a week or maybe 2 weeks if I can't get it quite together in a week. We're going to do a podcast. Now the reason I'm going to do this is because I have all of this equipment set up for my other podcast for my artist page, which is a completely different thing. As I said, this is a hobby for me. This is not something that I solely do. And so anyways, the bottom line is I just decided that I really thought that a podcast on Friday nights would be a fantastic thing. Now, I'm not sure Friday night is the best night for this. We're going to give it a try and see if it is, and see what you guys think. So we'll try it at Friday nights. I know there are several that I watch, sometimes in the middle of the week, Wednesdays, which is kind of the middle of the week, and perhaps that's a better choice because of the audience. More people are available maybe on a Wednesday than they would be on a Friday, but I have to do this according to my schedule. So the bottom line is we are going to try this on a Friday night. I hope that you will join me. We're going to be covering a ton of different things about anything aquatic regarding the fish tank hobby, and anything from collecting fish to tank size to water parameters to nutrition, to where fish are collected. I mean, I'll take questions basically on anything that has to do with the aquariums, and I hope that you'll join me. There's going to be, I think, some special guests on occasion that will join me. If they do not join me in person because of COVID, then we will have them join me virtually. We'll get that set up. I have all this equipment here that is set up for a podcast that I do already, and I just thought, you know, why not put this into my repertoire for this particular channel and give it a chance to see how many people really like it, and see how many people follow me on this. So it's another dimension to the channel that I hope you guys will like, and I hope that you're interested in, because I'm really excited to sort of dive into the real meat and potatoes of this hobby, and to answer those questions. I get a lot of questions that I don't really feel like I answer thoroughly sometimes, and it can get a little bit difficult. It's just like texting. When you're texting with someone, you don't always feel like you're giving them the feelings behind what you're saying, or stressing enough the importance of something. And it's the same thing with this. You know, answering people's questions in your comments section doesn't really allow for you to spend a lot of time on it. And so I want to really make myself available to do that, so that you feel like your questions are being answered completely, and you walk away feeling like you know the answer, and that you really don't need to go anywhere else. And I'm hoping that that is something that I can accomplish. So it's going to be an exciting time for me. It's an exciting time for this channel, and I hope that you will come and spend some time with me. Now, if anybody, before we get this started, it's going to be a couple of weeks. If anyone out there thinks that there's a better night to do this, I will figure out a way to schedule that, and we will do this anyway. But the podcast is going to happen, and it is going to happen regardless of what night we decide on. Again, we're going to start with Friday nights. That'll be the first one, and we'll talk about that. That'll be one of the things that we talk about on our first night of broadcasting, and that will be whether or not Friday night is a good night for this, or if it's something that I should change. So now the second thing that I want to talk about that's really exciting is I am going to be introducing a line of apparel and other items that I think people will really like, and I hope that you will purchase those. That's going to be a couple of weeks. Actually, it's probably going to be more like a month or so down the road, because there's a lot of design ideas that I want to introduce to the people that I'm working with on this. And these things are going to be basic, and they're going to be elegant. They are not going to be all over the board crazy kind of items. They're going to be something that people will really wear and be proud to wear. I think even out and about when you're not just sitting at home and whatever. So I hope that there's an interest in that. I really think that the ideas that I have for the design on some of the hats and some of the shirts and some of the other things that I've come up with. I'm not going to do cheesy stuff that gets ridiculous. I'm just going to have a nice line of things out there that are good quality. I would rather spend the money on something good. I know myself, when I'm looking at things like that, I'd rather spend the money on something that's quality and looks good and is made well, and spend a little extra money on it than I would to buy something that's really cheap and doesn't last very long, or doesn't hold up over time as far as going out of style or something like that. So that's something else to look forward to. I'm excited about doing that. Again, this is my hobby. I've talked about this several times. This is my hobby. This is not something that I do for a living. And I don't make that much money on YouTube. I mean, there's way too many guys out there that do this that are really, really good at it. And whether they deserve it or they don't deserve it to be, as high as they are, they've paid their dues and they have that following. So I'm not going to take that away from them. I think it's really important that we have people out there that can talk about aquatics with people and talk about the aquarium hobby and be able to give good information, knowledgeable information about things that either beginners or even people who have been doing it a long time, we all get stuck someplace along the way and have an experience that maybe someone else has had before us and knows how to deal with, but we don't. And so I think that this is a good opportunity to not only just do this to answer those questions, but to also bring some guests in. I've already got some people lined up, but to bring some guests in that really can be specialized in a particular area that I think is important. So anyways, I hope you'll join me. Again, this is going to be on Friday nights, and I think we're going to try to launch this in the second week of September. And so put that on your calendar. I will be making some other announcements on my Instagram account, my Facebook account, and places like that that will have announcements about this new podcast. And I think we'll start somewhere around 6 o'clock West Coast time. If that's too late for people on the East Coast, we may move it up to 4, because I do have a window of time on Fridays, unless I'm doing an event with somebody where I can use that time. And again, if it's too late for people on the East Coast or around the world, we'll change that a little bit. But again, we are in a time zone, and that particular time zone only warrants us to be able to have a certain audience at a certain time. I always envy people that live in the Midwest, because when you do a podcast in the Midwest, you have an advantage of having people on the left of you in the Eastern time zone, and people on the right of you in the Western time zone. that are able to probably catch you if you go for a time like 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. So anyway, we'll adjust to that and see how it goes. Leave your comments down at the bottom there. I really appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up on this video and also subscribe. I really appreciate it. The channel's growing. It's not growing tremendously, and like I said, I don't really care about how big the channel gets. I just want it to be quality, quality, quality. That is the most important thing to me. So again, it's not the size of the audience, it's the quality of the material that I'm putting out that makes the most sense to me. Now, when I started out doing this, putting out videos, I look back at some of those videos and I think, what was I thinking? What was I doing? I didn't even know. And I was in a business where I knew how to do this stuff, but I didn't know enough about some of the things that I was working with to be really good at it. So that has changed over the years, thank God, and I do have a lot more to offer than I did before, so I hope you will join me. Again, leave your comments down below on what you might want to discuss, some of the subjects and topics that you might feel are something that you want to discuss. And also, let me know if the time, like I said, is not convenient for you, because I am on the West Coast, and 6 o'clock in the evening my time may be way too late for people who are back on the East Coast and other parts of the world. I can't do anything about other parts of the world because I would have to dramatically change things around. And I would like to be live when I do this. I don't want to do a podcast that is videotaped and then put it out there, because I just think it really takes something away from not having an audience, just having guests and no audience that really participate in the podcast. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it. I hope that you will join me on this podcast and help me to make this thing successful. Until then, we will see you on the next one.